Hi there, it's Catherine, your lawyer friend and guide, and this is the #1 podcast for legal careers in Japan. Hi everyone, and thanks for stopping by Lawyer on Air. Have you ever been tough on yourself, questioned whether you're on the right path, or have you wondered if you are ready for the opportunity in front of you? If that sounds like you, then you need to listen to the story of my guest on this episode. After you have listened, you will understand you are always on the right path and you are always where you are meant to be. Sayaka Matsui is General Counsel and Representative Executive Officer at Unilever Japan, and her career story is full of lessons we can all use. Sayaka told me that for years she believed that criticizing herself every night was helping her improve. And then she realized it wasn't helping her at all. In fact, when she chose to unlearn that habit of self-criticism, everything changed. Her leadership changed, her confidence changed, and even her personal goals changed. The honesty in this episode is truly something special. And before we dive in, a quick thank you to the Temple University law students who are listening to all of the career stories on Lawyer on Air. One of you told me in person recently that you know that you now have a place in the law in the future. That's deeply moving to hear. And a special shout out to Tina at Temple for bringing Lawyer on Air into the classroom. And one more thank you to the gentleman from Deloitte who listens to Lawyer on Air to understand what lawyers are thinking. Well, thank you to you too. I love that these stories travel beyond the legal profession. So settle in with me and be inspired with Sayaka Matsui. Let's get into it. Hello, Sayaka, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Catherine. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, same here. We have a warm-up question we start with every time. Imagine we are meeting up in person. Where are we, and what are you choosing off the menu to drink?
So if it is daytime, I'm going to go with the cafe in Nakameguro. So Nakameguro is the location that we have our headquarters. This atmosphere, this vibe is a bit relaxed compared to the Marunouchi or other very office area.
Sure.
And also we have Meguro River, which is very famous for cherry blossom. And so I want to have a cup of coffee or tea with you. And my specific order could be a decaf latte, because my caffeine tolerance level is quite low. So I cannot handle caffeine so well. So that is why I always go with decaf. So
that's great. I mean, decaf, you get the feeling of coffee without the buzz, right? You get the taste.
Yeah, too much, excitement. So
is there a place you like going there? Because I know there's that very large coffee place with the green emblem, which everyone goes to. But do you have somewhere else that you go to?
Yeah, so there are many kinds of cafe around the river and along the river and also the near river. So I love to try many places.
Just different places.
Yeah, different places. Yeah.
Great. Well, decaf I might have later in the day, but I generally go for a black coffee, 2 before lunchtime, and then I convert over to decaf or to tea. So I would love to join you at one of your choices. Well, let's get into your story because I'm really unsure about your origins. I know we met and we've talked briefly, but I don't know what first inspired you to get into the law and what drew you into being a lawyer.
Yes, the first time I had interest in legal world is that when I was 10 years old. So I read a storybook of Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare. And
Whoa,
that was my...
Hang on a minute, you read that when you were 10?
Yeah, so
The
that
Merchant
was
of
not
Venice?
actually translated. It's more like storybook for children. And I read this. This was my first time to know that there is a lawyer. That kind of job is in this world. And I found it very interesting. Even I didn't know anything about lawyer. at the time. And I asked my mother that what is lawyer, and she told me some explanation. And I started to think about it might be good for me to be a lawyer someday. So that's my start.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I mean, from there, listening to a storybook or reading the storybook, you went through to one of the big four firms in Japan. And so there's a gap in between. What happened before you ended up at Nakashima Ono for your first part of your career? In between, you did a few things. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so one thing that is great about law is that if my personal interests change, the law is everywhere. For example, when I start learning law in undergrads, my first interest was family law. But after that, I have much more interest in a business area. In that case, there is a business law, a very huge area. So I found it very interesting. And at the end of graduation of undergrad, I decided that I want to be a business lawyer.
Mm.
And I was in the seminar of security law and corporate law at the time. And that seminars were also very impressive for me. So that is why I went to Waseda Law School. And that was actually a first year of Japanese law school history. So just established that at the timing. So I was so lucky that I could be in one of the students for the first batch.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you graduated from there, and I know later on you studied in the US as well, but first you joined Nagashima Ono.
After I graduated JD course in Japan, I need to have another year as a legal trainee.
True.
And after that, I joined Nagashima Ono Tsunematsu, NOT.
Can you remember back then what you felt about joining there and what you learnt from being in a large firm like that?
So I was in security law seminar. So for me, being a member of the law firm, which have very strong financial team, was kind of my dream. So I was so happy to be one of the member. I was in a capital market team and had a transaction like the public offering in Tokyo and New York and London at the same time, 300 billion and that kind of transaction just as a member, but I was in charge of part of this. And they was so excited. Actually, I only spent 3 years in NOT, but I learned many, many things from during the time because, firstly, during the process of capital market transaction, we need to understand very deeply about the business because each company need to tell their story about how they leverage this amount of money to a future business. So that is why I had very privilege to meet many business leaders who directly explain us about future business plan. And we called it as a business due diligence before the public offering. And during the course, I got some sense like maybe I want to be one of the in-house person. That could be interesting when not from the external lawyer perspective, more like internal perspective. That's how I felt maybe.
It's
At that moment, I
interesting.
was not conscious, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though that because your connection with those business leaders gave
Yes.
you that insight, hearing them speak, seeing how they allocated their money to the future made you interested in maybe thinking about in-house as a legal career.
So it is quite rare that the first year lawyer and the second lawyer can have conversation with business leaders of very prominent companies. So yeah, I think that is maybe one of the reason I started to think about that I'm gonna be one of internal person someday. So yeah.
Interesting. Wow, that's amazing. And so what happened next then after private practice? You did your 3 years there. Yeah, what happened next?
So one of my friends from law school had a plan to establish a new law firm, and I was lucky that I I have these good friends from law school and they asked me to join it. And so I decided to be one of the member. At the time, I was diagnosed with some disease, so I needed some treatment at the same time. So at that moment, I think like I need to change my lifestyle a bit, and also I wanted to change in a good way. So for me, the invitation from my friends sounds very fascinating and also worth trying. So I joined this plan with my friends.
Came at a perfect time, right?
Yes, yes.
And so you were at that firm for a little while, and then what did you do next after that?
Yeah, so during the private practice, I engaged in many SMEs transactions. That is so interesting for me too, because I used to work with very big company when I was in Nagashima no Tsunematsu. And after I joined the new law firm, the client vary from, for example, the very new company to very historical SMEs in Japan. So I learned many things from more diverse point of view during the time. And after spending 2 or 3 years, I gave birth to my first child. And my partner is also a lawyer, and I had chance to go to New York University to learn law for a year. So I came along with him to live in New York together. And so we spent 1 year together. And so I said that next year gonna be mine. So that is why I become visiting scholar of UC Berkeley. So we moved from New York City to Berkeley and
That's
spend
California,
one.
right? So
Yes,
completely
California.
East Coast
Yeah,
to West Coast. Okay.
yes, by car.
By
So
car you
yeah,
moved.
we purchased a car in New York
Wow.
City and drove away from New York City to
Incredible.
California
Wow.
so the North California, Berkeley. So
Wow. And you studied law there?
yeah, so I was a visiting scholar, so I took some courses or also seminar, for example, the consumer law seminar, and which is quite unique in the US. So not every law school had consumer law course. And at the same time, I was volunteering to local legal office, which offers clinical legal education to Berkeley law student. So the name is EVCLC, East Bay Law Community Center. This offers clinical legal education to the law school student, but at the same time, they offer the legal service to the people with low income. And so I found it very fascinating. And the reason why I chose UC Berkeley is that I wanted to be this law firm. So I did some volunteering job for this law center.
Oh, you're doing lots of very different things that probably many people don't get the chance to do. And I guess when your partner got the choice to move, it might have been a little frightening to think, what am I going to do? I'm going to give up my career. But then it sounds like you went with the flow and you decided to actually make your own pathway while you were in the States.
Yeah, so my partner is not business lawyer, it's more like human rights lawyer. And so currently he runs his NPOs and NGOs for social interest cases. So he didn't concern about his career at that moment. But he preferred to have time with our kids. So
Wow. And so after that, did you return from the States to Japan?
yes.
What's your big takeaway from being in the States and how's it really impacted you now? When you think of the US and the time you were there, is it like, so glad I did that? It taught me all of this and now it's impacting me. What's there for you?
That was my first time to leave overseas country.
Mhm.
That was when I was 35. I realized that I couldn't understand before I moved into the US about, for example, US political situation, US society situation. And after moving the US, now I have some context. Finally, I can understand the context of the news and the context of the books and the context of the movie, context of the drama series. That 2 years was a wonderful time for me. That without this, maybe I cannot survive current position as well because yeah, that 2 years taught me many things.
So around this time, are you still thinking about in-house law?
So I was in consumer law seminar in UC Berkeley, and I found it very interesting. And so one of my classmate was coming from Brazilian bank, and he actually in charge of consumer law matters. And I find it very interesting to practice this kind of area from in-house. So that is why I start to find a new position as in-house counsel for the first time.
There you go. Isn't it great meeting different people and that continues to build on the what you heard before when you were working with the business people, right? And this is another bit of information that helps you think, I want to try some in-house legal work. And so you returned to Japan and you took up an in-house legal role.
Yes, at that time, it's quite lucky that I got some invitation from the Japanese listed financial company. Actually, that company was searching for a lawyer who could be a member of corporate planning department, and they asked, is there any appropriate person for this role to their external auditor, Kansayaku. And the Kansayaku was my senior of my university. And that
What?
person contacted me that there is a one position and it might be very interesting because it is quite rare to be a member of corporate planning department of Japanese listed company as a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I found it very interesting, and that is why I chose to join Credit Saison.
Wow. Yeah, Credit Saison. And then that's really interesting, isn't it? You were called a lawyer, and so your title was lawyer, and you could say you were a lawyer, but you're sitting in corporate planning. That's
Yes,
quite unusual.
yes, quite unusual. Yes,
How
because
cool.
yeah, there's a legal department outside the corporate planning department. People want to have someone inside corporate planning department because in Japanese listed company, corporate planning department is very important division. So they decide the main strategies and they decide big M&As and big collaboration with other companies. They told me that they would like to have view very at the very first stage of the transaction.
Have a legal input. That's
Yes,
fantastic.
yeah, so that is why they would like to have lawyer inside corporate planning department.
Right. How did you connect with the legal department people as a lawyer inside corporate planning?
I worked very closely with legal department too. I communicated like we are actually on one team, so
Mm,
we have
yeah,
legals
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So maybe we have different channels inside the company, but the direction that we would like to go with should be the same. So that is why I closely make communication with legal department. And also, so I'm like the mid business side and the legal department about the huge decisions on
Mm.
the board decision, I mean. And so that was the situation.
Amazing. I love how you've shared this example because sometimes we can be quite fixated that if you're joining a company, it must be in the legal department, right? A lawyer in the legal department. But you've given another side that I don't think anyone shared before now, that you can also be a lawyer in the company in a different department. And I loved how you said the channel is different, but the
Yeah.
direction is the same.
I think so. And I've done a lot of things, for example, IRL, so investors relationship.
Yes, investor relations. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a meeting with investors, especially coming from overseas, and explain current strategies and also answering their questions. For me, it was quite fascinating
It
because I never
is.
thought that the lawyer could do this kind of work.
There you
But
go.
now, yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for sharing that example. From there, I think you were there for nearly a couple of years. You moved, though, to where you are now at Unilever. Tell me how that came up. Did you have another serendipitous kind of occasion where you had some connection? That's amazing.
Yeah, actually, I had one mentor, external mentor. His name is Kitajima-san.
Oh, I know what you're going
He's
to say.
yeah, so yeah, he's
Kitajima-san
very
was your
famous.
mentor.
I knew him since I just graduated law school.
I see.
Yeah, so actually, so one of my professor used to work as an in-house legal for Japanese trading company, and I loved his classes because he used many actual cases and the very realistic way of thinking. And he told me that if you are interested in business law, you need to meet Kitajima-san. And he introduced me right after I graduated.
Well, anyone who's listening now is going, who is Kitajima-san? Well, you
Yeah,
better tell
so
them who he is. Can you tell us who he
so
is?
he's very famous in in-house legal community in Japan, and he used to be my boss. I mean that he used to be a general counsel of Unilever Japan, and now he have his own company, and also he serves as a general counsel to other company. But 2019 he contacted me that he have additional position in the legal team, and he asked me that is there any good appropriate person for this role. And I,
Me,
yes,
me.
yes. So I thought that
Oh,
I
wow.
don't want to introduce anyone to this
Yeah,
position.
I want
So
this work.
yeah,
I want to work
yeah.
with you.
So actually, he
Ah,
thought that I might be the one, but he also
mm,
understand that I'm having a good time in Credit Saison. So he
how
could not,
thoughtful.
yeah, so he could not directly mention this way. So, and I felt like I really want to be a member because I was thinking about someday it would be great if I could be one of the member of his legal department. So for me, I thought this could be a great opportunity. And also at the same time, I was in corporate planning department and spent almost 2 years, and I feel that maybe I need more pure in-house legal skills.
Mm, mm,
So it was very fortunate. It was good timing for me to move to global company's legal team and learn from
exactly.
him.
Did
Yeah.
you ever imagine that you would be the general counsel of that company?
Never thought that way. Yeah, so after I joined Unilever, I started to think like I want to be general counsel of Unilever Japan someday. But actually, I did not imagine that came so early. Actually, I expected more later timing. So
Wow, but did he continue to be your mentor while you were there, or as a boss, but also as a probably more than a mentor, more of a sponsor in the company? Yeah.
yeah, it is true. So, for example, if I have some achievement, he make it very visible to other
Mm,
leadership teams and also global teams, and he kept this way for many years. So that is the main reason that I can be the general counsel right now.
yes. So tell me, when did you take up this role and how have you grown into it?
Yeah, so I joined Unilever 2019 as a legal manager. I was in charge of business partnering. That means so enabling each function's purposes.
Mm,
So that is my main role.
mm.
So for me, it was first time to join FMCG company. So it's totally different industry from financial companies. Nothing was tangible. So right now, our product is very tangible. And so that makes many legal situation many differently. So I learned many things from the marketing people, supply chain people, and other leaders told me many things. During the course, I started to understand this business precisely, and that helped me to provide better services to business partners.
As well as being general counsel, you're also representative executive officer of the company
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. This is more like the governance point of view. I'm a head of the holding company. The holding company offers many corporate functions like legal, HR, in ITs, finance.
Hmm.
So I understand this way. So the reason why I'm a representative officer of holding company is that I'm responsible for risk management for this company. So I'm a member of leadership team. We have 10 members right now from each functions.
Wow. What have you learnt about yourself in this role since you joined at one level, but now as GC and as the representative executive officer? What have you learned about yourself as a leader, for example, over the last period of time since you took on this role?
Firstly, I was so nervous to become a general counsel because it happened a bit earlier than I expected. But our general manager at the time, and also my line manager in Shanghai, told me very encouraging messages. And coincidentally, so they told me that you don't need to be like former general counsel. So if you would like to make decision, and that is different from what he would do, we are still okay. So you need to be confident with your decision. So that is one message they gave me. The second point is you don't need to be perfect from the starting point because we see much potential in you. So you don't need to be perfect from the starting moment. So all the things you need to do is being diligent because you have potential in you. So that's the message that I got from a general manager and also my line manager in Shanghai. And I was so encouraged from these two messages. So that helped me to go through this 1.5 years.
Absolutely. Not only encouraging, they've just empowered you
Yes,
to just
yes.
do it, not having to be perfect. That is such a wonderful piece of advice because we start out thinking we have to be perfect. But here you are being given a little bit more space to not be perfect. And then you don't have to be like the former person. That is also something that can hold us back, especially when they're a guru and a well-known person like your predecessor. It can put you in a little bit of a freezing position. And how would I do this? And why am I doing it this way that's different to him? But also you can think about him being there, part of what you're doing every day, and bringing him in as you need to it in your mind, right? As you make decisions. What about other people who are listening here who think, well, I'm not ready for that. This offer I've got is earlier than expected. What would you say to them? Would you say go for it or get ready first?
I'm gonna go with go for it. Yeah, because firstly, the timing is very important. So luck is not always in front of ourselves. So the timing is very important. So if I am a bit nervous about taking this job, that means I have much potential to improve myself to fit in that position. I think this way. So I would say go for it to the person who is hesitate to take that role. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Along the way, I'm sure you've had to unlearn something.
Mhm.
And I've been asking a few people on the podcast about how often we learn things, but also unlearning can be so important. Is there something in for you that you have maybe a belief or a habit or some way of doing something that you've let go of to help you grow?
The thing I unlearn is self-criticism. So I used to criticize myself every night. Actually,
Every
when I was
night.
teenager, when I was 20s, before I sleep, I kept thinking like I should have done this way today. That also helped me to improve somehow, but in very negative way. So I decided to quit this way. It's more like self-affirmation way. And the reason why I could change it this way is that after being a lawyer and I spent several years for practice, I decided to go to India to be a yoga teacher.
What?
I spent 1 month in India to be a yoga teacher. And at that moment, my yoga teacher from Canada told me that if you think of you like you're good enough, you need to change the way of thinking. If you think you are good enough, that just because you are a mid of your journey. So your journey is going on. So in that case, you have much space to improvement. That is very natural thing. This is not because you are not perfect. So that is how she told me, and I realized that, oh, I've been criticizing a lot to myself every day. So I
How
decided
incredible.
to unlearn this.
Yeah, just because you've got room to improve doesn't mean you're not perfect.
Right.
Oh, that's so brilliant, isn't it? So, up until doing that yoga program, you were criticizing yourself on a nightly basis.
Every night.
After that yoga journey, where you learned a lot more about yourself, you came
Yes.
back to Japan and you had changed?
Yeah, that 1 month dramatically changed my way of thinking.
How
And
incredible.
I started to embrace my vulnerability
Mm,
at the moment. So, yeah,
wow. You just gave
releasing,
me goosebumps saying that. What's an example where you've probably done that? And you don't have
yeah,
to tell me everything, but embracing vulnerability is such a dramatic or big statement. So, how
yeah.
does it show up, even in a little way, sometimes?
Everyone has their vulnerabilities. I have vulnerabilities right
Mm.
now too. Before that, I thought that this is a weakness. This is not a strong way to live. So after I realized that vulnerability is also a key to leading people. So if someone completely try to ignore vulnerability, who would want to be with him or her? So if the leader completely ignore someone's vulnerability, that doesn't work. Embracing vulnerability should be one key to be a good leader.
Right. How do you show vulnerability? Do you tell a little bit more about yourself or your shortcomings to people? Do you say, before every meeting, I'm so nervous, so I know that you're nervous before this presentation. Don't worry, I feel the same. These are the things that I do. Or how do you show a bit of vulnerability to them?
Yeah, so first thing I keep in mind is to be authentic.
Right.
So right now I'm speaking very honestly and frank way. So I keep doing this way to
Right.
many people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, out of this, I'm wondering from what you're saying, if you have a lawyer superpower, I feel you do, like a strength that you've got as a lawyer, and maybe it's combined with what you've just told me is unlearned. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
I try to be very authentic, and at the same time, I really value the curiosity because, for example, I moved to Unilever from totally different industry, and some people may think that is this the right choice to utilize the previous expertise, skills,
Mm.
that kind of things, but I didn't mind because I'm so curious about the new world, as curious about the new industries, and as I'm still curious about many other industries and many other cultures as well.
Mm.
So that the key driver for me to
Wow.
be a good lawyer in at least in this industry, because there are many smart lawyers, clever lawyers out there. But for me, what I really think it is important is to understand business, understand this culture, understand what's going on in this world. That is, for me, it is most important thing.
Wow, amazing. And I think through being someone who's curious and authentic and wanting to learn about those things, you're also very involved in programs and in the community in Japan, right? You are doing law school programs and I think judicial apprentice,
Yes.
what I heard, and also you are part of MEXT, MEXT.
Yeah. Monbukagasho. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Mombukakusho. So tell me about these things. I mean, are these programs that you are curious, went out and found out about and got involved in? Because this is really important, isn't it? Giving back to the community in this way and looking to the future generation of lawyers and students, and also the ones who are coming through earlier than you as lawyers. Tell me a bit more about those programs.
So currently, so Unilever Japan has intern program for law school students and also judicial apprentice. I mean the trainee under Supreme Court. And so we offer 2 week course for law school student and the judicial apprentice. And this year we have 17 people altogether. The reason why I kept doing this is that actually this program was started before I joined Unilever. So Kitajima-san already started. But the reason why I kept doing this is that when I was law school student, most interesting experiences, most variable experiences was clinical legal education. So when I was in criminal legal clinic, that was my first time to be a team that is handling criminal cases. And that I cannot forget the feeling that the first time what I learned can be used in this society, and we can solve problem in this society. I cannot forget this feeling. So that I really want to share with many other law school students and also legal apprentices as well, because it is quite rare that they have this kind of experiences doing the judicial apprentice term about in-house experiences. The basic program offers only as a judges, as a prosecutor, as a lawyer, but then that is in private practice. So I find it a bit interesting to offer this program to judicial apprentices too, because they might have interest in what's going on inside company.
Wow. I mean, this is amazing to share this because I don't know if other companies are doing this, but it would also be really great for you to be the poster child for these activities and share them with other companies and broaden the number of people who could try and have this, as you said, feeling, because law can be so abstract, and you felt the impact what you were learning and doing could have on society. And it's very hard to get that when you're a new student or a new lawyer. You don't always see that. So I would really welcome you to think about how it could be even spread further so others could do it. You could start a movement.
Yeah.
But what impact do you want from this work that you hope will help both inside and outside of the workplace? Have you got a theory or a vision for your impact?
Yeah, so firstly, I wanted to pay back to this community because I have qualified in Japan. So we have only very limited number of lawyer in Japan. In that case, we need to pay back because we are privileged. So not many people are interested to be a lawyer currently. The number of the people who take bar exam become decreased. I would like to introduce many fun experience with many other people. They're already in law firm, but still they might think that so in-house counsel could be boring or something. So they are only doing contracting job, and that kind of image is still strong in Japan. So I really want to share my everyday excitement
Yeah, share the excitement, right, of your role. And yeah, if they don't see your excitement, they will think that forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And also that also a good opportunity for me to review and reflect what I am doing right now. So if I teach someone, in that case, we need to do something reflect onto how I teach. Without this, so I'm kind of like liar. So I need to be the one who
Like a
done.
mirror
Yeah.
reflecting back. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and also it's great for me. It is very good opportunity. So that is
Wow.
why I can keep, yeah, even in the time I'm very busy
Yes.
because yeah, I need to handle the daily work, and at the same time, I would like to spend much more time with interns. And during the time, I'm so busy, but it is totally worth it for me.
I met a CEO last week, and that CEO spends most of his time with interns, new
Mm-hmm.
people into the company, because he wants to
Mm-hmm.
hear the fresh, new views. So I would encourage you to keep doing that.
That's
When you
great.
said, yeah, not many people are interested in law, and the number of people sitting the exam, the bar exam, has decreased. Why is this? Do you know why, or what's your theory? It's a bit sad to hear, but is there
Yeah.
a reason about the lack of interest in doing law?
Yeah, my understanding is like this because at least the number of the people who is trying to join law school is dropping.
Right.
So, and of course, we have other bypass route. That is main reason, but
Yeah.
not only. So, not many people are now interested to be a lawyer. This is, I think, it is fact in Japan.
Interesting. I guess too, now that you are a lawyer, if I can move into how you look after yourself in the work that you do and outside of work, how do you reset yourself or find your balance?
I've tried a lot of things to reset because it is quite difficult to reset when I need to handle many things at the same time. Sometimes I'm still showering, but still I'm thinking about the work things. So
Right,
that's
even in the shower.
tendency, even in
Yes.
the shower. But so I'm trying to include some meditation time, very short one, into my life. For example, 2 minutes meditation. For example, sometimes I felt like my brain is too busy. In that case, I'm gonna set 2 minutes timer
Mm,
and I try not to think anything during 2 minutes. And that helps me a lot.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, what then, when you have challenging moments, what inspires you to come back again, right? And there may have been some challenging moments over your career. What's brought you back to be inspired again?
So I have many great mentors,
Mm.
including Kitajima-san and other general counsels in Japan. So Unilever is a member company of International Corporate Law Association, INCA. And so they have a variety of companies as member companies. And I luckily had many discussion and communication with other brilliant general counsels, and then they gave me great advices. And so when I'm struggle something, I cannot share detail, but they can share some general advices that help me a lot.
Mm.
So for other people who just joined in this industry, I really encourage them to have good mentors.
Perfect. I was going to ask you if you had some advice for young lawyers, but that would be one of it. One of the things, at least, is that it's great mentors. Anything else that you would suggest to up and coming lawyers, what your advice would be for them? And maybe it's even from something that you wish you'd known way back when you started
Yes,
out. Yeah.
yes. Just after I started my career, I didn't know the importance of having mentor. So I could not open up many things to others. Maybe it is because I had the tendency of self-criticizing. Maybe. So that is why I couldn't open up the current situation. I couldn't open up my concerns, my worries. So I encourage young lawyers to have more networking. In that case, you can find great mentors out there.
I want to wind up today with just some fun questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I ask you if there's one Unilever product that you can't do without? What's your favorite? What's your favorite, if you're allowed to tell me?
I honestly love about our product. And one item currently I'm obsessed with is that Nexus.
Whoa.
And Nexus is a brand for the hair care.
Whoa,
And
nice.
yeah, so I'm really obsessed with this.
Obsessed even.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. Do you have a dream destination or a holiday place that you want to go to that's on your list?
I actually spend some time in the US, sometimes in the Asian area, but not so much in the Euro area, despite I'm working for a Euro company. So I'm trying to visit many more Euro countries and to understand each cultures and also the
Yeah.
vibes.
You
So
have to make a business trip to go there.
yeah.
And if there was some skill that you could master tomorrow, like I could give you a magic wand and say, tomorrow you will have
Mm.
this skill, what would that be?
So I'm gonna have language skill for that country that I haven't learned so much at this moment because it would be fascinating. So one day I can understand one language that is not totally familiar before and start to understand many things in the
Yeah.
country. So that
Right,
would
it could
be
be Mandarin
interesting.
or it could be
Yeah,
Greek or it could
yeah.
even be like sign language,
Yeah,
right?
yes, that could be very interesting. Actually, I try and learn Mandarins and also the Korean language and the Thai language at currently. Yeah, but I love to learn foreign languages.
Oh,
But
fantastic.
yeah,
And if you weren't a lawyer, what career do you think you might have pursued?
I started to have image about being lawyer at when I was 10 years old. So I never thought that other occupations, that other jobs. But for me, maybe I want to be a writer. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So I like to write down my thought, and I like to some, for example, the traveling essay kind of thing.
oh,
So
sounds
yeah,
good. Do
yeah.
you write a journal? You could just do little one paragraph a day and you could
Yeah.
build up.
So I'm right now trying to write journal
Oh, good.
for every day what I find out.
Okay, I've got one more cheeky question to ask you. If you were to describe your career as a metaphor, like it could be a sport, it could be a movie, it could be a movie
Mhm.
character, it could be a food, a metaphor of some sort, what would your career be as a metaphor?
Wow, I never thought that way. Very interesting. I characterize my career as a bit unpredictable.
Mhm.
So, because I'm really don't know 10 years later what will be doing. So, I'm
Right.
really cannot predict. So, in that case, the movie that have many actions,
Yes.
the mysteries, that kind of things,
Yeah,
maybe.
and maybe a
Yeah.
little twist at the
Yeah,
end that you weren't
twisted. Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah. So
Ooh, I
that
love
way.
it. That's perfect. Well done. Well, Sayaka, well done indeed today. You've done so well. We've been on camera the whole time. For
Mhm.
anyone who's listening to this, they won't know that we are on video, but we've done this with video on. And I really congratulate you, Sayaka, for doing something with confidence with the video on. You decided to do that today. So I appreciate that. And maybe it'll challenge other people in the future to do that as well.
Mhm.
Some feel confident off camera, but I'm so glad you chose to have the camera on today. It's been great to see you, and it's been a real pleasure speaking. I hope you enjoyed your time today.
Yes, very much. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, great. And so before we finish, is there somewhere that people can get hold of you, listeners who are listening? Is that LinkedIn or is there somewhere else they can contact you if they wanted to ask you more about networking or some of the other topics that you talked about?
Yeah, LinkedIn could be better. Yeah.
That's great. And I think too, for my listeners, if you are listening to this, please do feel, if you feel inspired, go and share it with other people. We love people who share these episodes with others so that others can find the information that they were looking for, but they didn't know where to go. So that's all for today. I'll see everybody on the next episode. Cheers, kampai, and bye for now.